Hi, and welcome to Yarnspirations.com. In this video, I want to tell you everything you need to know to make the fabulous Crossing Paths crochet super scarf. Super scarves are all the rage right now, big and thick and warm, and the bonus for us is they're very quick to make in a thick yarn like Bernat Softee Chunky. I don't have the whole scarf here, just a small sample so you can see what we're going to work on, but we have this really cool stitch pattern that has crossed stitches in it. And then I'm going to give you a little tip on how to put the fringe in. Now, when you get the pattern, you will see you have text instructions, but you also will have the chart in the back. So whether you're a visual person or you like to read, you can learn to do this stitch pretty quickly, but I'm going to show you how to do it on camera because it's a little confusing for many of us. To start with, I chained 22. Now, the instructions say skip the first 3 chains because the first 3 chains are going to replace a double crochet. Now, I like to work in the back or the bump of the chain, but you can work in the front if that's what you're used to. I just prefer the back because I think it gives a neater look. So I'm going to skip the first 3 chains. That's 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do a stitch which they have abbreviated as CR2DC over next 3 chains. So that is a crossed double crochet. So these are the 3 chains I'm going to work in. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to work in the farthest one first. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook in the chain. Once again, I'm using the back or bump of the chain because that's what I prefer, but you can use the front if you want. So I'm going to finish a double crochet so it looks like this. Then I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm working this stitch over 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, there's the 3rd chain. I'm going to skip what was the 2nd chain and I'm going to put a double crochet in what was the 1st chain. So yarn over, go front to back through that chain, yarn over, pull it through, and finish the double. Now, even though I'm working in 2 different directions, I'm not changing the hook orientation. I'm still moving forward, whether I'm right-handed or left-handed. I'm going in the direction I normally stitch. All right, so now I'm going to do that, looks like 5 more times. So, yes, because it says to do it 6 times and we've done it once. So I'm going to look at the next 3 open chains. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a double crochet in the farthest one away. That's the 3rd chain. I'm going to finish the double. And now I'm going to chain 1. And acting as if I'm going in the same direction, I'm going to put a double crochet in the first of the 3 chains that I skipped. So there'll be a naked one sort of in between. Now this stitch, again, it might seem a little fiddly to you when you get started, but honestly, once you get the hang of it, it's very intuitive. So once again, 1, 2, 3, double, chain 1, and then go back to that first double. So there'll be a naked one and the first one. Particularly when you're doing the chains, you want to make sure that you're not putting 2 stitches in the same chain. See how this is the double I already made, so I know I have to leave that chain alone. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do all the way across for a total of 6 times. Let me pull up some more yarn here. Skipping that one, going back to this guy. So I'm going to do this all the way across for a total of 6 times, and then I'm going to put a double crochet in the last one. 1, 2, 3. Here's a double. Chain 1. Whoops. Double. And I should have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have 1 more of this cross 2 double crochet, chain 1, and another double, and then I have 1 chain left, 1 empty chain left at the end, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet in there. Now This is what it looks like with my stitches crossed on top of each other. Now you may have noticed when I started my chain I left a very long tail at the end. The reason is I want to hide that in the fringe when I fringe my scarf instead of having to weave it in. So when you make that slip knot for your chain, work it a pretty far ways up, a good 12 inches, maybe 14. All right, then it says turn. So I'm going to turn, and then row 2, chain 1, single crochet in each double crochet and chain 1 space to end of row. Okay, so I have my double crochet at the beginning, he's hanging out by himself. That's 1 single crochet. Now I'm working in groups of 3 because remember each of these cross 2 double crochets has 2 doubles and a chain. So I'm going to put a single crochet in the double, 1 in the chain space, 1 in the next double, and move to the next group of 3. Double in the chain space, double. It's tempting if you're rushing to try and put a stitch between the 2 groups of stitches, but that's not what we want. So there'll be 3 singles for every cross 2 double crochet. So in the double, in the chain space, in the double, all the way across, and then we're going to put 1 single in that very last double, and that will give us 20 single crochets. You might notice I tension my yarn a little differently. I learned from a left-handed person a very, very long time ago. So watch my hook, not my tension. All right, when I get to the end, when I said there's 1 double left, it's actually the chain 3 that we skipped at the beginning. So I'm going to find the top of that chain 3 because it replaces a double crochet and put my last single crochet in there. So I have 20 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and turn the work. Now we're on row 3. So row, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it says working in back loops only, cross 2 double crochet over the next 3 single crochets. This is where you have to pay attention. But because this chain 3 is a double, even though this first single crochet looks empty, it's not, because these 3 chains replace that. And so I'm going to, this first guy has the double already over it. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. But now I'm only going to work in the back loop. I'm going to skip the front loop and work only in the back loop. So there's my double crochet, chain 1. I'm going to skip that stitch and go back to the first one I skipped, which is over here. And remember, I'm working in the back loop only. Now I'm going to continue this all the way across like I did. So here is the stitch that has a double in it. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, put my double in there, chain 1, and then put a double in the first of the 3 skipped stitches. So yarn over. Now, to get in there easily, because remember I'm working in the back loop only, you'll notice I'm basically folding my work back. You don't have to make a big giant step about it, but you will find that if you push your existing stitches to the back of the work, it's much easier to get your hook into where it belongs. And you don't want to enclose the stitch. You want 2 distinct double crochets, one of which is sitting right on top of the other. All right, so we're going in here. And once again, we're going to have 6. So there's that stitch that has a stitch in it. 1, 2, 3, working in the back loop only, double crochet, chain 1, and go back to the first of the 3 skip stitches and working in the back loop only, put another double crochet in. Now you're going to do this all the way across. And another thing I want you to notice, if you're doing this correctly, the crossed stitches are lining up right on top of each other. They're not staggered. You will have a column of crossed stitches. If you look at my sample,